This is Joe Biden during the campaign on the oil industry.
3 consecutive American presidents have enjoyed stints of explosive economic growth due to a boom in oil and natural gas production. As president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes. No more subsidies for fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends.
I've been against Keystone from the beginning.
No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends.
What do you make of it, Senator? The claims
now. Well, this is an area where Joe Biden has been very successful. He can't claim a lot of successes in his year as president, but this is one. He has been successful in making us energy dependent. He has been successful in throttling down our energy production. And putting the premise of that question that we just heard, putting thousands of American workers, blue collar workers out of work, out of a job. Yep, he's done that too. And here's the thing that really gets me, Megyn. I notice now that Joe Biden doesn't seem to have any objection to increased oil and natural gas production in general. He's begging Venezuela to do it. He's begging Saudi Arabia to do it. What he has an objection to is Americans producing American energy in America. And by the way, who could do it more cleanly than any other nation? It would be us. I mean, who has the highest environmental standards? It would be us. But yet he's happy to beg these dictators for more oil and natural gas, let them get rich. But he doesn't want the American people to actually produce our own energy. It is insane.
What do you make of that? Because we are learning now that the president's team has been in touch with the regime in Venezuela for preparing to offer them a special package that will ease restrictions, the sanctions on them, get them to make up the difference in oil. The president also potentially planning a trip to Saudi Arabia to ask the Saudis to increase their oil production. So we really are on it. We're not looking at any American oil company and saying, could you drill more? Could you be part of the solution? Just these other regimes that are deeply problematic that he promised to make pariahs of. Now he goes to them on bended knee. And so far, the reports are that a couple of them didn't take his call last week, that they're really not that interested in talking to him.
Well, they know they've got the leverage now, Megyn. I mean, this is what is so, frankly, pathetic about this. The president of the United States is groveling before murders like Maduro down in Venezuela. He's groveling before the Saudis. We even have reports that he's groveling to Iran. I mean, he's thinking about offering Iran new and better terms if they will increase their energy production. I mean, this is a reductio ad absurdum. I mean, this is the absurdity you get when you embrace the kind of delusional politics he has. And it just goes back to the fact, why should the American people be held hostage to Joe Biden's indebtedness to the political left? I mean, just because he's enthralled to the political left and he's made all these commitments to the hard environmental left of his party, why should the rest of the American people have to pay for that? They don't agree with those policies. Mm-hmm. They haven't made those commitments. They don't share those politics. So I would just call on the president, listen, this shouldn't be about politics anymore. This ought to be about the security of the American people. Open up American energy production. That's the only smart thing to do.
At a time of record inflation, of eye-popping numbers at the gas pump, we're talking about oil prices that could come in $200, even $300 a barrel. They're talking about if things go really south, even more than they have with Putin. Why wouldn't we look internally? It should be an all-hands-on-deck situation, but it's not. And now, with that serious pain in the pump, I mean, you and I have never seen anything like it in our lifetimes, right? It hasn't been. We haven't been in a global energy crisis this bad in 50 years. And I know you're not even 50 years old. Now you've got the White House, you tell me, seeming to sense a scapegoat for gas prices that are political problems for them that were already in place. They were already rising long before the battle with Putin in Ukraine. But listen to Jen Psaki. This is today. She sent out a tweet of her on video addressing the gas prices.
You may have noticed this week that your gas prices have gone up. I want to talk to you a little bit about why. A lot of it has to do with Vladimir Putin. U.S. production of oil and gas is rising. In fact, in the first year of the Biden presidency, there was more oil and gas produced in the United States than the first year of the Trump presidency. But part of this is on the oil companies. Right now, there are 9,000 approved unused permits that oil and gas companies could tap into now. The only way to protect the United States over the long term is to become energy independent. That's why the president has been so focused on investing in clean energy technologies, so that we can rely on that and not President Putin to set the price of gas.
Energy independent, meaning renewables only, not nukes, not more drilling, not natural gas, which we have in such abundance, not oil, we're back to the windmill. But what do you make of that claim about the gas prices they're rising because of Putin?
Yeah, she really ought to get out more. I mean, I noticed she said, if you've noticed in the last week, your gas prices have gone up. Week? Try the last year and a half. I mean, ever since this president came to office, we have seen a steady uptick in gas prices, again, to the tune of more than 50%. And I can tell you in Missouri, we have been paying even above the national average. I mean, our inflation in gas has been higher than it has been in other parts of the nation.
We have a chart of it on the board. You can't see it, Senator, but it shows that the climb started back in November 2020. For sure, the most recent upward spike happened in the context of Ukraine. But he wants to blame this entire graph, which, goes over the course of a year and a half, on Vladimir Putin, not on his own policies.
Just not credible. And listen, everybody knows it's not credible. I mean, the American people aren't stupid. They pay for gas. I mean, people who have to fill up their trucks, their minivans, get to work, take the kids to school, they have been paying higher gas prices for over a year. And they know that. And they know that Joe Biden has boasted. You just played the clip. He has boasted about shutting down American energy production. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that, we are shutting down American energy production. We are happy to do that. We're no more drilling. No more exploration. You can't say that at one time and then turn around later and say, but we're for increasing it. We've tried to increase it. It's just not true. It's not credible. Even now, their policies are throttling down American energy production. And even now, they're saying that, no, we shouldn't drill more. We shouldn't pump more. We shouldn't do more biofuels. What we ought to do is clean energy, sometime in the future, who knows when, rely on China for all of those component parts. It's just not credible at all, Megyn. The American people know that.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.